Hello, everybody. This is Travis Straw, and I have the sniffles. I don't know why I'm sneezing so much today, but I am, and hopefully that is acceptable. Today I want to talk about social media, and I feel like most people have a fundamental misunderstanding when it comes to social media. So when you sign up, you agree to the company's platform. And you may feel as though you're operating seamlessly, you're posting these things about your life. And what you don't realize is the value of that information. So before this was even possible, marketing was hard. They had to guess and stereotype and really try and figure out what the people wanted. And now, since everybody, or most everybody, is involved in social media, marketing is easy. It's basically done by AI. You put forth information about your life, intimate details that anyone can access. So, like when you post on Facebook, imagine what you're doing is going to a local park where there are millions of people walking around, and you get on a elevated area and you yell out, "I had coffee at Starbucks. It was great. Hashtag coffee, hashtag coffee life." And you're just yelling it into this crowd. That is what you're doing when you post. The nature of public information is that it's public, and you agree to it being public when you sign up. So when you go on platforms like Twitter or Facebook, there's moderate censorship happening. But for the most part, they're trying to create a public platform for everybody to say how they feel, including the most terrible people you could imagine. Like, it is equality at its source. And people get uncomfortable that, like, oh man, this mega racist has posted something really racist. And it's like, yeah, but I mean, it's like a public park or anything public. You aren't a part of a private society. That's why, and also, not only just that, you're opting in to share your information to be sold. And I know you're like, wait, what? No, I didn't. I never agreed to that. And you did. You absolutely did. If you have any social media account, you have agreed to let that company and consented to having that company use your information for money. And that's how these platforms are free. Facebook makes money off you by selling information, by allowing people to take that information and use it for ads. Basically, Facebook is a giant program involving figuring out how to sell you stuff. And that's based off your cookies. And I don't know if you know what cookies are, but when you're browsing the internet, your browser will save certain aspects of your movement. And if you keep that movement, those cookies, then Facebook will take that information of your internet browsing, your current internet browsing, and use that to sell you ads. And that's the platform. That's why you don't have to pay for Facebook. That's why you don't have to pay for Twitter, because they are actively selling you. Like you are the product. And you may not feel that way. And you may not understand that that's what it is. And you may not want to live in a world where you're using a service that's supposed to connect people, quote, quote. But what it really is a platform for businesses to market stuff to you. And expertly so. Tailored ads. Because you know what you do every single day is give it data. Like, you do you understand there's a part in human history where people paid for this data that you are so willingly giving for free to companies. And then on the other hand, everyone's trying to freak out. Like, oh no, Facebook is data mining, Facebook is this, Facebook is that, Twitter's this, Twitter's that. They never lied to you. Because in their agreements and in their everything that you don't read, it says that. So currently, people are trying to censor Twitter and stop mean people from texting or tweeting mean things. And that's censorship. And I understand that evil people exist and that we are offering these platforms to people who should never have been able to communicate as a whole. Like, you're talking about like the flat earthers that before were discouraged from talking about their beliefs because they're based on absolute nonsense. And so that they'd have fear in bringing it up in regular everyday conversation. So when these platforms became possible, you made it possible for every single crappy person in the world to create communities. You have enabled the entirety of evil to communicate with each other, with their views secretly, or somewhat secretly, actually publicly. And that's just the fact. It's crappy. But on the other hand, you have the opposite good. You know, you've also connected the best people. And censoring something that's supposed to be public inherently is against American sensibilities, right? We're supposed to have free speech regardless of how crappy we are. We're allowed to say whatever we feel, no matter what it is. If it's offensive or if it's straight up from hell. We live here because we can do that. In other countries, they have measures and everything and censorship and whatever. But for us, our law states that we could say whatever we want. I could sit here. I mean, there's some things you can't say regarding the president and bad things and stuff that the government is actively screening that makes you a terrorist or whatever they deem you a terrorist. But I mean, the system in general is not great. But I encourage you to realize that when it comes to like the Russian hackers and all this stuff, oh man, the Russians, they interfered with the election. It's just like, dude, yeah, absolutely they did. And you know what? I could do it because what they do is create content that will sway the feelings and anything to do with how you vote, and then they post it all the time. They create bots, which is basic AI that does something you say to do. In this case, it would be to post stuff to make you vote for a certain person. But, we all know that Hillary won the popular vote, so what did the Russians really do? How did they win? He won by electoral college. I'm confused as how the Russian hacking really made an impact because he didn't win the popular vote. All of America, with the numbers of everyone who voted for everyone, Hillary won. So that's weird. But anyways, if I wanted to do that, just me, all I'd have to do is download a couple simple, small programs and do it. Because Facebook is a platform. I could also follow you. I can stalk you digitally. And it would be as easy as getting up and getting a glass of water. Like if I had the intent, I could do it because social media is basically everyone telling you where they are, what they're about, and you can manipulate them at any point. Like I have no idea. Well, I do have an idea why people do this. It's because everyone wants to be noticed, everyone wants purpose, etc. But you're doing it. However, I just really, 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 really want people to realize what you're doing. You're creating an opening for you to be manipulated by every sense. And if you think that some reason for that people won't take advantage of this information, then you are ignorant beyond all belief. If you think for a second that people would be like, oh, Facebook's a pure public environment, I'm not going to try to make money off that, then you need to check yourself. I'm all for participating in open forums, social media, and everything you want to do, man. Like, for real. Do what you want to do. Do what makes you happy. I don't care. But don't do it through ignorance. Don't turn off the light in one room and be like, that room doesn't exist. Any platform will be exploited by evil people. Period. And that's it. I'm Travis Straw. Thank you for listening. This is Memory Meat. And I'll see you next time.